This is day 3 going out for a snapper session. Hopefully we get this tag and release some fish. That'll be freaking epic today for me. You can see out today conditions are not too bad. It's actually blowing northeasterly, so as we get out around the corner it's probably going to be quite rough. We'll go hide behind the islands into the shallows. Probably fish around 10 meters deep today. Mostly soft baits, micro jigs. So hopefully we'll find some fish and check out the action soon. Cheer. Okay, you're on the bottom there?
It's on the bottom there, yeah.
I have to push around the whisker to jump on. Aye. Can you?
Just got a bit of a rock and roll on it.
Lift the upwards up some. Now let me get up the front.
We had the sand anchors down.
Hey. Let me get up the front. Deploy?
Yeah, deploy.
Prospect drift, prospect drift. So I've got a bommy over here as we drift back. Looking to get onto it. Cast. It's a bit windy out today. I'm going to chuck on 30 gram contact mini, fish it like a soft bait, and it's going to be a fast drop, so work it quite fast, much faster action than a soft bait, and yeah, just work it like a wounded sprat or piper or something like that, bounce it quite fast just off the bottom, and see how we go. So here I wanted to show technique. It is a slow pitch jig after all, but very light, 30 gram, so we're fishing it like a soft bait. So here I want to show exactly how I'm pitching the jig after the cast. See the big wind behind me? Big cast towards the way we're drifting. It's only 10 meters, so it's quite a short duration with letting the jig actually sink. And it's sitting on the bottom probably about now. You flick the bail arm over and just wind up the slack until you feel the jig. Once you feel the jig, you see how I make the adjustment and get the butt of the rod near my elbow and on the forearm. This is so jigging a 30 gram, it takes the stress off your wrist. So having the rod resting on your forearm, you get maximum lift. It's not taking long before the jig hits the ground again, so I'm pitching again. We're essentially just bouncing that back towards the boat. We're drifting quite fast towards the jig, so it's quite important you wind that slack up, feel the jig, and then pitch it again. It's not taking much effort because the jig is only 30 grams, So it's quite easy to do, and I'm finding I can do that all day long. How can I do that? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Feels like a good snapper. Contact mini. Working at quite fast action actually, quite fast. Fish are just smashing it. Big red snapper. Beauty. So after the pitch, the fish are hitting the jig on the fall. Right, it's not when I'm retrieving the jig or lifting the jig, it's on the fall. So every time you go to give it a stab or a pitch, expect the fish to be there, because quite often than not they're coming out of nowhere and just hitting the jig. We are targeting snapper on the sand here, so we are picking quite a few up, and the jigs are working well in the shallow water. You saw earlier I picked up a trevally. There are big trevally in the far north, so they're cool. I enjoy casting these jigs in high winds. You can see the wind is fairly ripping behind us. It's close to 20 knots. With a soft bait you get a lot of belly in the line. It's very difficult to fish in high winds. That's why I prefer casting the jigs. You can hit the bail arm over as the jig hits the water, and as the jig falls it straightens the braid. So much easier fishing a light jig in high winds. takes a while getting the fish to the boat because the fish are actually hitting the jig quite far out as I cast. So I'm casting, I only get a few pitches in before it actually gets attacked. So although we're fishing 10 meters, it seems like a long time to get the fish to the boat. He's literally just swimming along the bottom towards us. I enjoyed the Tyndale Research Foundation. I like what we're doing with the tagging. I am interested to find out about some of these snapper, certainly in the far north. That's why I'm enjoying so much catching them in shallow water. Pop a tag in them and let them do its thing. I do hope to hear from these fish someday. It's quite tricky doing by yourself, but well worth the effort, and certainly I find it well worth the effort anyway. You can see here when I'm popping the tag in, I'm trying to lift the scale and get the tag actually between two scales rather than through a scale and ripping it out. So I try and place it carefully. Tag 15657. Try and take as least time as possible and get it back in the water. You can see I have a bit of a drama with the snapper. They're still quite lively, so again, full of life. Chuck them back in while they're swimming hard. Nice 42 centimeter snapper. Once again, you can see that fish has been caught quite far back. I wasn't sure what this fish was. It was an interesting fight. So just see how this fight's a bit different to the snapper we just caught. Because we're drifting quite fast as well, if the fish are quite stubborn and stay down on the bottom, the boat ends up drifting over it, so it's really quite tricky. Those constant tail pumps you can see on the rod tip, it's pretty much a dead giveaway as to the species on there. Nice little snapper. They're still pretty healthy. We've actually moved to a new spot, 17 meters deep here, so I am mindful these fish may not release well. I keep him close to the net in case he doesn't release. You can see he's starting to come back to life, which was cool. And pretty confident he's actually going to swim back pretty good. You can see here I still wasn't quite sure, and right then he popped off and swam down. I still had a double check though, because I just wanted to make sure he's not floating off out the back. Would have taken him if he wasn't going to survive, but stoked to see he swam back. Same again here, like I mentioned, the jigs are getting smashed quite far back, not long after the cast. So you're having to fight them all the way back to the boat. It's actually a battle, but that's what makes it cool. It's actually a long fight, and they're really aggressive fish when they take these jigs. Slow pitch jigging is traditionally fished vertical. Because we're casting them, people think it's not really slow pitch jigging, but you work the jig, you actually pitch it and let it fall. It's still getting hit on the fall, so I know the jigs are actually working as they're supposed to. So it's just a matter of the rod doing the action to actually pitch the jig. I couldn't help cast. You can see my coffee sitting there. I couldn't help have another cast while I was having my coffee. You can see the red jig there. That's probably one of my most favorite colors, the red jig from Ocean's Legacy. That colorway is just, man, pops off. I switched to a soft bait here. I thought I'd have a quick cast while we were out in the exposed area over the sand. Just wanted to see if there was anything else, and friggin' heck, got smashed on the drop. Just a rat kingy. Handled quite well, I must say, on the Cloud 9 PE 1.5 rod. You know, handled quite well in those types of conditions. And back to the jig. With that wind, the soft bait is just too difficult. Fishing off the bow is, the boat is swinging, so the jig is just by far 10 times more effective than a soft bait fishing from the bow in this sort of condition. You know the wind is strong when the wind is blowing the net backwards when you're trying to scoop the fish. It was very tricky. I could tell this was a good snapper. We just drifted past that rock there. There was actually a bit of reef, and we were on the flat side of the sand just off the edge of that reef there. I could tell this was a good snapper.